Hi, everybody. I'm here with Ian Bremmer, political scientist, entrepreneur, president, and founder of Eurasia Group, host of G0 Media. Ian, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Let's start domestically. Talking about political risks. I know you've done some work recently around the media, trust. Let's start there. What's on your radar?
I guess the fact that U.S. democracy and other democracies around the world continue to weaken, continue to become less legitimate in the eyes of their citizens, with very little pushback in the other direction. I mean, it seems that, most weeks and certainly frequently most days in the United States, we have new unprecedented things that are happening that we're just kind of taking as, oh, well, I guess we're here. I mean, so we're now going to probably see an impeachment investigation, an impeachment proceeding opened against Joe Biden in the House of Representatives. Impeachment is, of course, broken as an instrument to constrain overreach of the executive. The purpose is largely to show a twice impeached Trump running against a once impeached Biden. And of course, neither side will have any level of trust in what's being put forward by the other. We now have, of course, new indictments, also historic, against former President Trump. If you are a Trump supporter, your view is it doesn't matter what those cases are about. They are illegitimate by definition because they're against your person. And we're seeing people, not just Trump, but also Ron DeSantis, who still is in second place for the Republican nomination, others, Vivek, and others that are saying that if they were to become president, that they would take the FBI out of Washington, D.C., that these have become structurally delegitimized institutions, the DOJ. I mean, at the end of the day, American governance is about an understanding of some common truths among American citizens and a common belief in trust of those institutions. And that, of course, includes the media, as you suggested. And every one of those institutions is eroding. The only question is how comparatively quickly.
And what we can
in other
do
countries
about
too,
it.
of course, but I'm more concerned about the United States since it's my own and since it's happening faster here than I am about other places.
Well, I mean, what you're talking about is almost existential in a way. To your point with Trump, we've talked about this before. It seems like, it's fresh fodder for the politics of victimization. To what extent does the media have any agency? I mean, what would you be suggesting if you were in the room with the CEOs of major media companies to address this?
Well, the business model, of course, is not aligned with the promotion of civil society. These companies, a lot of them have been under a lot of financial stress. They are trying to ensure that they get eyeballs. When you had three major networks and you advertised and your advertising revenues were thrown out to everyone and you weren't sure exactly what was hitting and what was missing, but you tried to make good advertisements for everyone and hope that that would make a difference for your product. Today, we've got micro-targeting. We know exactly what works. We know exactly what heats engagement. We know what headlines get people more excited, get people more titillated, get people more angry, and keep them on your site. And that is not aligned with a civic national discussion. It's not aligned with a community. It's not aligned with a family. It's not aligned with anything that brings the nation together. And so, I mean, the reason I'm worried about it is precisely because I don't see macro solutions. I see micro solutions, of course. I think that at the local level, putting news out there that is interesting and relevant to a community where people do know each other, where people will engage in the same sort of conversations and talk about the same things that matter to them, that connect them as people. I think that helps. I think long form helps. But of course, long form is not what happens in a social media environment. I mean, I spend a fair amount of time on looking at the websites of the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the websites of CNN and Fox. And if you read the pieces, they're fairly similar. If you look at the headlines, they're radically different. But of course, in the social media environment where most of the people are consuming their news, they're only seeing the headlines and they're not clicking through. And that, of course, means that even if they're on relatively well-researched and documented sites, they're actually only getting the most divisive pieces of the conversation. And look, in part, it's why my TV show is on PBS and why it's long form. And I don't have as many people watching it as I would if I were on Fox or CNN. But at least I know that everything that I put out is a long conversation that forces you to actually engage. Even, I mean, I had an FSB Russian officer who used to run Carnegie Moscow, who I've known for 20, 25 years. The Russian government has sanctioned me. I had him on my show. We spent half an hour together, and I didn't get hate mail. And I obviously don't agree with a lot of what he had to say, but I was able to have that conversation with him so that people at least see what it is that they're saying, what it is that they think. I'm not trying to convince people that the Russian perspective is right, not at all. But I want us to understand what's happening in the world.